Good everyone, welcome to this video. Today it's a spade review on the Type 65 anti-aircraft. Well, when I first got this thing, I thought, well, it's going to be like a beefed up ZSU-37, and that is pretty much exactly what it is. So, obviously, you may see the crew will be on a mission. I am working on spading the Chinese PT-76. I'm also working on the Russian one. Not actually that bad of a vehicle, is all I'll say. I mean, yeah, it's got no armor, and there's some questionable players still playing around. But whatever. We're not here to discuss that. We've done that plenty of times. So the Type 65 is essentially a T-34-85 with the turret removed and a anti-aircraft platform with two Type 65 cannons put on top in a lightly armored turret. This in turn saves about 5 tons of weight, 6 tons give or take. And let me tell you, it makes a big difference to the drivability of this vehicle. Stock, it's actually pretty dang fast, and spaded, it's even faster, so you can get out of situations pretty easily. Now, there is one critical flaw with this vehicle, but obviously I'll point that out in a moment. So obviously, with it being a T-34 base chassis, you get T-34 levels of armor, with 45mm being on the front, 75 on the driver's port, and 65 around the MG port. You'll be surprised how many bounces you're going to get off the hull, because for some reason people love to shoot the hull on this thing. I have no idea why. Now, there is a bug with this thing's armor. The lower transmission should be 45mm thick. It is not. It is apparently 10mm thick. This is a bug, as far as I'm aware. So let's hope the developers get around to fixing this. Obviously, I'm not entirely sure if it's a bug. I didn't really find much research into this anti-aircraft vehicle. But as far as I can tell, this is a bug because if you look at the thickness of the actual, if you look at the thickness here, it's the same as this part here of the armor, so it must be 45mm, maybe even 40. But other than that, it's just one of those vehicles that it's a definite step up from what China originally had, which is nothing. The only thing you could use for anti-aircraft support in the Chinese tech tree at the moment is, well, anything that's armed with a 50 cal, and anything that has a decent gun elevation. The problem is with China's tank trades only has one anti-aircraft, which is obviously the Type 65, and that's at 5.3. Now there is apparently plans. Obviously, this may come out in the next patch, well, obviously the upcoming patch for Sweden. Obviously, this video will come out probably after that patch drops, because well, I've got a load of spade reviews to get through. I've got a load of other things to get through, and I'm pretty well prepared for a good couple of weeks, even if I can't get around to Sweden straight away, because well, I've got an exam in January, which is a piss take, but even so. So, obviously, what are we armed with? Well, we've got two 37mm Type 65 cannons. Now, from the internet searches I've found, the vehicle should be actually called the Type 63. I may be wrong, but that's what I found. Um, and obviously, the hull armor, as I've already gone through, is pretty good. The turret armor is not. At 15mm thick, 50 cals will cut you to bits. Trust me. And well, there's one big flaw with this vehicle. The driver, he's pretty well secure in there. The rest of the crew are not. This is a 5 crew vehicle, and 4 of them are sat in this open-topped anti-aircraft turret. Now, obviously, there is a radio down here, although I feel sorry for the driver because he has to lean over whilst he's driving, or something like that. Or maybe they'd send a crew member down unless this thing's not got a turret basket, which I think it does have a turret basket. So, unless the driver has to stop the tank, reach over and grab the radio, I don't think he's going to be using that radio very much. Obviously, as it being a T-34, you get 500 horsepower in the engine. It's pretty nice. The turret traverse is actually pretty good. The gun depression is 5 degrees. It's standard anti-aircraft. You're not going to get much. And the gun elevation goes up to 85. So let's quickly go over the stats of the vehicle before I begin. Obviously, you will notice that I have actually tried to take out the PT-76 Chinese one, but I keep getting these really big maps which are not great for it. Side note, I'm working on, well, obviously I'm doing the PT-76 now, and I'm researching the ISU 152 just so I can get down the tank destroyer line. But 45 kills, 25 ground target kills, obviously 45 air kills, and 12 deaths with 38% win rate. Yeah, these teams in the anti-aircraft department, when I was spading it and all that, are not great. Obviously, you'll be getting the M4A4, and as you can tell, it's a bit of a monster in the right hands. But yeah, let me tell you, this thing was a lot of fun to play. But anyway, I'm gonna jump us into the battle, and we are going to get started. I haven't cleared up my replays yet, so here we are. That's the one. Port Retard, as I call it. It's an 18-minute battle, but I am going to skip us ahead a little bit. But yes, I do have to agree, this is a very good anti-aircraft. Obviously, you can get the Russian one, which was part of an event. That's exactly the same as this. There's no difference. It's just that the Russian one fights with the Russians, the Chinese one fights with the Chinese, and even then, 90% of the time, in fact, nearly all the time, I think, you'll be fighting with the Russians, unless no one's playing Russia. So, let's get into the thick of it, shall we? So obviously, I didn't go over the belts because, well, if you've watched the ZSU or the ZSU 37 spade review, this thing has the exact same belts. Exact same HE, exact same armor piercing, exact same HFAB. As you can tell, I've got 25 reloads of, well, 24 if you include the 2 and the 3 already, reloads of HE, and I have 14 reloads, technically 13 of armor piercing, ready for a belt. That's pretty much what I kept it at, because you want enough high explosive to deal with the aircraft, and just enough armor piercing so that you can at least defend yourself in some manner. Now obviously in this battle I did not have any of the engine mods done, but that Su-85 in front of us, he's pretty much spaded, and well, we're keeping up pretty dang well with him. Obviously, the stock horsepower will get you along nicely, but we're actually keeping up with him pretty well. Jumbo waits, sort of, but the Su-85 just almost goes in, and the Jumbo just doesn't wait for the heavy tank IS-1 that's at the top of the road, but they don't wait for him. So I decided, okay, I'm just going to proceed onward. I'll cap, but obviously I wanted to wait preferably for that IS-1. But unfortunately the Jumbo and that Su-85 chose not to wait. You'll notice a lot of that in Chinese and Russian, whatever else teams. They're rather selfish. Obviously I saw the IS-1 coming barreling down, so I let him go past first and let him through, because obviously he's a 44 ton tank. This one weighs 24, I think we know he's going to win a wrestling match. Obviously you can see there I've got the armor piercing ready to be changed to. The armor piercing works again great against M18s. So does the Heat FS on the PT-76, I find. It's perfect for that job. But yeah, this vehicle's a lot of fun. I do have to say that. You're not going to be getting kills left, right and centre, but it is a good vehicle for the job of dealing with things like that, like such as light armoured vehicles, anti-aircraft work and other things. Now I was on comms with Tom the Tank, and I think it was Harper as well, but they weren't actually in the battle, they were just on Discord and was talking about stuff. And obviously at the time I was just telling them what was going on in the battle. So we are going to skip ahead a little bit, just to get us underway. So obviously there is a bit of, shall we say, dead zone. This battle took a bit for me to get into the action properly. And here's my first engagement. Now you notice there that only one gun fired. Why is that? Well, obviously I had armor piercing loaded, I switched to the HE, but one gun was in reload when that Typhoon came into view, shall we say. So obviously only one gun could fire, whilst the other one was still on the reload until after I'd already scored the critical hit on the Typhoon, which sent it packing. Unfortunately though, that Typhoon got off its bombs and managed to kill a KV-1 and cripple a 8.8cm flank bus. Now at this point, I about shit myself because I saw this M4A2, obviously I'm loading the armor piercing, and I saw that Jumbo. But obviously, if you look at the minimap, we've got a couple of tanks nearby. But this Panther player was a bit unsmart. There's a trolley armor. He hit the MG port, which then went through and hit the frontal slope, which ricocheted off. It is amazing what you can get away with in this anti-aircraft. If it's something like an M19, you would be fucked. But of course, I go for a shot at the guy's barrel, and this, shall we say, bright Panther player, bear in mind it's Panther D, so it takes a while to get that turret around. He, for some reason, has decided to point his arse to the enemy. That is, well, the enemy that could be coming from C. Point his front towards the Sherman, who the Sherman does not give a shit about him because he knows the turret's going to take forever. And obviously the Panther is, well, the Sherman, sorry, is looking at me because he wants to deal with me. So obviously the Sherman fires, hits the Panther. The Panther eventually gets its turret around after what feels like a decade and wipes out the Sherman, and I get the kill assist because obviously I damaged the coax machine gun. However, T20 just then has just wiped out that Panther, and we have a Jumbo who is sat rearwards on to that T20. IS-1 there just deleted that Jumbo who was heavily over-angling. You do not angle a Jumbo like that, buddy. That's for certain, unless you want to get shot for the lower tracks. And obviously I choose to take point here. I don't remember what I actually hit there. I believe it was a tree, and it's not showing up in the replay. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know why the tank actually stopped there. It's been a bit since I've watched this replay and obviously commentated over it. So obviously with me wanting to get behind some cover, because obviously there's that T20 over there and there's most likely enemy tanks behind me, I take a hit to the gun breaches at this point, which stops the 75mm round from that M24 Chaffee. Obviously I'm like, come on Tiger, get out of the way, I need to go and repair. Now there is one enemy aircraft up, a P-47, but obviously I turn the turret backwards and I start waiting to get the breaches repaired. Because they are not separate breaches. If you get hit in one breach and your breach dies, that's both guns out of commission, just as a heads up. It's not like the... what would an example be? I know it's not really a good example, but the M15A1 anti-aircraft half-track, if you hit the 37, only the 37's out of commission, not the 50s, so just bear that in mind. I know it's a really crap comparison, but even so. So obviously I'm wanting to get in a position where I can at least support the team in some degree of fashion. Obviously, I am an anti-aircraft, but this thing can work as a tank destroyer in the right situation. Obviously I'm skipping ahead here. I was thinking about setting up this position for a defensive line, but there's going to be no tanks coming through here, so I had no reason to fear. The only tank that's nearby is a friendly, who just blew up a Sherman Firefly, which is why you saw that glorious explosion there. So obviously I'm moving in, I'm trying to get a position, and this is a bit of a dirty shot. I only had 2 rounds left, and obviously I went for the reload, and my first estimate range shot hit the F6F elevators bang on. He's now dead, he just doesn't know it yet. I felt dirty after that, let's just say that. I didn't expect to hit that shot, but hey, I'll take it. Second kill. Obviously still got another about 8 minutes to go. Obviously the battle won't last 8 minutes, that's obviously about another 7.5 minutes I'd say. But the action is going to pick up a little more, and obviously I am going to get a ground kill, if I remember right. I can't remember what I killed. I think it was a Chaffee or a half-track or something. But let's just say I had to play this thing very cautiously, because obviously you can't get overconfident just because you've got good hull armor. I don't want to see people doing that because you look like a twat, and well, I'll laugh. So there goes a bow fire, and obviously we have got a Spitfire floating around as well. The AMX-13 DC-40 on my team, down to that, so that's a job done. I still need to drive that thing out and get some footage for it. I have got footage for the M4A4 Sherman, the Chinese one, so you can expect that at some point. But obviously with Sweden, this spade review obviously will most likely be delayed. So don't expect it to be, shall we say, perfect, because obviously I've got Swedish stuff which takes priority. But obviously the Chinese vehicles I want to get out as soon as possible as well, so I'll be recording the M4A4 today. Yes, for those of you that are curious, I have an exam on the 10th of January. Just a minor heads up. I mean, it's not going to affect the channel at all. And well, third kill. That exam, I'm already in the process of preparing for it, so yeah, don't worry about it. It will not affect the channel at all. It's only a 1-day exam where it's a 2-hour exam, so please don't be concerned. The channel will not go dark for 1 freaking day, so yeah. Obviously, this video may come up after the 10th, so probably everything I'm telling you is irrelevant. And 4th kill. You can see that this thing's 37s do pack a lethal punch, and if you look at the tickets, we're sort of glad we had that lethal punch, because, well, the Whirlwind's not done much. The AMX-13's obviously, I believe, is actually moving up, or he's not in a very good position to fire, so he can't help out as much, shall we say. Obviously, the other reviews, or the other upcoming reviews that you might have seen on the actual thing, like the, obviously there was the PT-76. There's also the F4U4. That footage will probably not get used because I'm not spading that thing for a little bit because it's a fucking nightmare. The Russian T-3045, again, same story. And there goes a shot which actually overmatched the 15mm of armor. You'll get that a lot. Nothing's going to stop the... Well, only machine gun rounds are going to bounce off the turret. But you can see it just went straight through, so... We lost 2 crew members there, but it's not really that big of a deal. You've got 5. That's still another 3 to go. But obviously the guy on the top, who's technically one of the loaders, he's just enjoying life. Obviously he's got his hand on he's got his arm around the side of the tank, a bit like I used to do when I was a kid with my dad's Ford Mondeo, and yeah, he's just loving life. I don't know why you would bring a P26. And Harper, if you do happen to watch this video, buddy, don't worry, I made sure it was dead. For those of you who are not in Tom the Tank's Discord server, you will not get that meme. Essentially, Harper has a fear of M24 chaffies ever since I whooped his ass in one. So, yeah. He has had PTSD ever since. We've tried to seek counselling for him to come over this sudden, shall we say, fear, but it's not going to work. So obviously, I did cut up that T-34 there, but I don't think he really cared. I move up here, and this M16 half-track has chosen the wrong anti-aircraft to sit in front of. Obviously, there was a bit of a replay bug there, but that's perfectly fine. And that's going to be my only ground kill that I actually get in this, well, in this battle. Obviously, I didn't just get 1 ground kill across the entire spade. That'd be a bit boring, wouldn't it? And I wouldn't say it was good against M18s, because it is good against M18s. Now, I did have actually a teammate behind me who... He was behind me, I believe it was a T-3045, and he somehow did not spot an M18 who was literally on his left and was right in his sight. I don't know how he fucked that up, but I did lose another crew member, so now I'm down to 2 crew members. Obviously, the AP rounds did not have the penetration to go for the side of the Sherman turret there, so I don't get the assist for that one, unfortunately. But yeah, I really did enjoy this anti-aircraft. However, China really does need some more anti-aircraft. That I do have to say. They are severely lacking in lower tier protection from planes. I mean, yes, a Mardouse will do the job, but you need more than a Mardouse sometimes. There's another dead Chaffee for you, Harper, so... Well, someone else shot it. I think it was CT-3045 who actually shot that. Just to make sure. So don't worry, buddy. It's dead. This is where it got weird, though. I don't think I got this guy. Remember, I think someone nicks it from me. I think that was a friendly shell, if I remember rightly. But, yeah, some Well, the AMX-13 DC-40 came around and nicked the kill. I was so close to having him as well, but he came around and nicked the kill. I mean, I got an assist, so I'm not all that fussed, but even so, how dare you steal that kill? So obviously, aircraft coming in now, it's a V-156B, and this is going to be, I believe, my final kill for this battle. And there you can just see what little remnants of that P-26's wing is right there. Did think about engaging this guy, because we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 anti-aircraft up, and I thought, surely my team would be able to handle this, whilst I head to the B point to potentially get a spare retard. You'll be surprised how wrong you are, because they can't seem to do it. Okay. If you're not sure what the V-156B1 is, it's the British one, it's the British Vindicator, and yet we have 4 other anti-aircraft up, except for me, well, obviously excluding me, I should really say. And my team just cannot handle it, so I have to get involved. And I've just realised I made a bit of a commentary mistake. I didn't even have spare retard at this time, but no, whatever. Obviously, he goes for the bomb. He's trying to bomb me, but he misses by a country mile. I start cranking the guns round, and well, the replay only showed me firing once. I fired twice, and that killed him, and that brings the end of the game for us. So what I think it is Type 65. Well, as I said, I think it's a great anti-aircraft vehicle. I really think people should go down the Chinese line and give this thing a go, because obviously the Twin 37s are very brutal when they hit an aircraft, and they're just as brutal when it comes to M18s. Obviously, with China potentially getting more anti-aircraft in the future, which is apparently planned, this vehicle will not be the only anti-aircraft vehicle in the Chinese tech tree, so you will be expecting reviews on those anti-aircraft should they come next patch, which I don't think they will. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all on the next one.